Hey everyone, we're on to our little subtopic within our diagram so we're looking at identification of the self with the body and mind, and we're moving on now to look at identification with the mind. Oh, it's such an interesting one, this, because it looks like it's my mind. I'm a real entity. I'm Claire, this subjective reality person, and I have a mind. And that mind is made up of my thoughts, my emotions, my responses, my associations, the things I've learned, my experiences. And so what it looks like is that the me, Claire, to be okay, ultimately, has to manage this mind. So I, Claire, have to control my thoughts, or I have to change my beliefs so that they reinforce my self-esteem, or they make me more confident, or I have to forget about someone, or I have to make sure that I find that right state of mind in order to access my wisdom. Things like this looks totally real, and it's a constant reinforcement of that all the time, over and over again. Oh, so there we are, this idea of Claire, or whoever, or you, trying to manage this space called mind, and when we succeed in that, then we'll be okay, then we'll be successful, then we'll have this eternal sunshine. And God, so exhausting, so literally impossible to do in every way. And not least because that entire activity of mind in that moment contains the idea of self. That is where the idea of self exists, as an activity of thought, of belief, of apparent agency. This like busy. This is, here I am. I'm Claire. Like, it suddenly appeared. I'm a loser. He doesn't like me. No one is reading my books. I'm too fat, and my hair's wrong. Blah blah blah. That's me. It arises like that, and then it turns into something else, and then something else again, and then something else again. And so that whole thing is a spontaneous arising of self, of thoughts, of emotion, of a future place, of others. And instead of the knowing of that, instead of the knowing that the whole thing is just a momentaneous, as Helen pointed out, the new word we have of this month, a momentaneous arising of activity, of belief. Instead, within that activity, it looks like there's a separate Claire and separate thoughts and separate others that this self has to control. It's massive, isn't it? It's so massive. So the momentary activity of mind is the self. That's where it exists, and it exists in that form, which looks so real, so unquestionable, but it's completely transient. So suddenly there, like this is who I am. I'm wrong. I'm a failure. I can't do this. I can't do that. Or yeah, I've got this. I like myself. I can do this. They like me. I'm earning. A client said yes. Blah. Like there we are. And we don't exist anywhere other than as that thought. So my mind, it's in that, isn't it? That's where it begins, that separation. My thoughts, my feelings, my state, my depression, my anxiety, my peace of mind, all of these things, mine. I'm separate from this, and there's just not the realization that it exists as one. There is no separation between any of it. It's one arising. Yeah. So where do we go with this? Well, what I've got to start saying my T's, haven't I? Cardiff. What can become clear from this is that any attempt to manage the mind, to manage thoughts, so for the self to do all these things, all that is doing is increasing the activity. So all that can essentially be left to do whatever it's doing. It's not, there's nothing wrong with it. There's no problem with the activity. It's just not where any answers are going to be found ever. It's not where any peace is going to be found. It's not where any resolution will be found. And so there's, through that, there would ultimately be less and less attention on that activity. It would just be like, just like a storm going on, or a whirlpool in a lake, or it's just what's happening. It doesn't have to stop. The sky doesn't need it to stop. The lake doesn't need it to stop. It's just activity going on. The film it creates is illusory, because it's a momentary creation of thought that isn't true. And so there's the realization there ultimately is no mind in the way it was believed to exist, as a possession, as a part of my identity, as an element of who I am. And there's just the realization that it in that idea exists the self. So extraordinary, really. Mind-blowing. Yeah, literally. Yeah. Good. Well, we've got a month for this. So again, if this is sounding nuts, don't worry. We've got plenty of time for, and it. I know it sounded. I mean, it is nuts, but it's it's the only ultimate move towards truth, isn't it? And hopefully, all of us are starting to see just how the self is that arising of mind, is that arising of thought and belief. And it just exists in that moment. That's all it is. It arises. Good. All right, everyone. Thank you. Big love. See you soon.